Your next stop is your success. Stay clear of negative vibes, please.
And welcome to Brown Sugar and Sofrito. I am Scottie and she be.
Mimi. How you doing, girlie?
Hey, I'm good. What's up with you?
Chilling. How's your day going?
I feel like this day is going by super fast.
Really?
Yes.
This is the opposite end of it. I think it's going by dumb slow.
No, this is going
Really?
so fast, girl. I'm like, yo, it's already almost time for me to go to bed. Like,
And yeah, you got to go to work, right? I hate that. That
yes.
Sunday blues is just like, ugh.
Goes by too fast.
Yeah. So
Girl.
today we're going to kind of touch on older men, younger women, why they like it, why it seems to be older men. Why it seems to be like older men like younger women. Is that that's basically what we're talking about today, right?
Yeah, and vice versa. Older women, younger men.
Right. And I'm glad that you said that because sometimes it's such a bias where when a woman does it, it's not so frowned upon. Exactly. You know, she's sexy, she's a cougar, but when a man does it, it's like, oh, he's jailbait, this, that. It's just looked down upon more.
Yes, it's so acceptable when it's a man and a woman. And even when you think about like historically, and I'm gonna go way back. I'm talking about like literally kings and queens and even like in Jesus' time. I mean, if you really want to go back, there was always an older man and a younger woman. I think now that it probably has to do with the perfect childbearing age and just little things back then. But
yeah, I think it was more cultural stuff back then. And what you said, I mean, I don't agree with those ages that they had,
not at all.
They operated in there. But I feel like if two people are grown, but then I still get what people are saying, this person is 20 years older than this person. Like, what do they have in common with this person? I mean, how do you feel about that?
Well, I have my own reservations. Me personally, I'm not judging anyone, to each his own. If you find true love in someone that's younger, someone that's older, that's on you. I've always dated people who have been younger than me, but
really, okay,
they've always been younger than me. But honey, we could check that same box, that same little demographic box. We could check the same box.
Right.
A 3 or 4 year difference for me.
Yeah.
The youngest have been 4, but we were both in college. I took a little gap year, but I think he may have been a sophomore, might have been a junior or a senior, but we were still same goals, same priorities, both in college, living on the dorms. So it was almost the same. And plus, even though I'm older, even now in this age, I still have such a youthful spirit that 3 or 4 years doesn't really make a significant difference. Like, of course, if I have to be mature, I'm going to be mature. But for the most of the time, not most of the time, but for the most part, I like to be young. I have fun. I like some of the younger music. I like the dancing. So I just have so much youthfulness inside of me. I think that's why a lot of young guys kind of hit on me, because I look young. Sometimes I dress really young. But I wouldn't go younger than like a 3 or 4 year. And of course, once you're like in your 50s, 45 is okay. 55 is okay. It's like a little range.
I think when you're grown, whatever you choose to do in that space is on you. I'm just talking about, for me, this is just my personal opinion on what I would do. I couldn't date somebody that was older. Now I'm going to go with the older part of it. 10 years older than me. I don't think people should, and I can't say that I don't think people should. This is what I would do. Like 10 years older than me, that's enough of a gap right there. It's like, it's like it's like communication, okay?
Uh-huh.
The same interests.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but men, I think they have a different perspective in it. Like I think that they see, like I wrote a couple of things down. They well, I think that the art of communication has been lost. So I think people, older men, can like to talk to younger women because we as older women like to talk more. We like to engage more. Where a younger person, you know, the lifestyle now, the communication is emojis. You could tell somebody I love you with a smiley face or a heart, and
Mm-hmm.
they be content with that. Like an older woman, like you, at some point you're gonna have to engage with her. And I'm not saying, I'm not trying to generalize with all young women, because you know that's not the case. But you know, I just think that those things older men find appealing. The youthfulness, of course, of a younger woman,
Mm-hmm.
um, the spontaneity that a younger woman has sometimes that an older woman may not have.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, yeah.
But then you guys also, I think that when you're dating, period, that
Hmm.
age thing, there's a couple of things that you have to consider. You got to consider whether or not I think it's dependent on your relationship needs, right? Where you're at. Some
Right.
people date younger because of sexual desires, right? Because
Okay.
you to think that the younger guy, of course, they will have more stamina than the older guy, right? When you're really looking at the age or
No,
whatever, maybe, maybe not. I
no,
guess
no,
it
no,
depends
no.
on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
older
yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and vice versa,
yeah.
obviously. And also you got to think of relationships expectations, realistic expectations. The reason why I could not go super young, I don't know. I think that first of all, I think that women who date super young, or men that date super young, I think that maybe subconsciously, it might be like an empowerment thing. Like you're so worldly, you know so much, your perspective is so different. I think that it's almost like a little bit of a power play, not an intentional power play, but I think
Hmm.
it turns out being that way.
I
Where
agree with you. I mean, and not that sometimes it's intentional and sometimes it's probably not. I put, you know, I was writing a few little notes and I was saying that, you know, they know that in some cases they can steer this person more a certain way because
Mhm,
they don't have, you know, so much life experience as an
exactly.
older woman would have, and vice versa with an older woman and a younger man.
Mhm,
um and I just know that a lot of when it's the age gap like that, a lot of people always express how this person makes them feel alive. And
yeah,
I think that that's one aspect in a relationship, that if you're older or younger, you can't lose that aspect of your relationship because that's what happens.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's definitely more adventurous. Now, 50s and 20s, I mean, unless you want to be Stella, I don't see how I can have a committed relationship with someone that's 20. Our interests are completely different. Like there is nothing. The fun part, okay, we want to have fun,
Right.
chill, you want to party. But after a while, it's
Right.
like, oh, I'm tired. I don't want to do all that.
Right. And when I'm thinking about relationships, so if you're going to use people that's in their 40s or 50s, so when
Mm-hmm.
you're thinking about relationship, then for at that age group, I'm thinking almost like my life and what I want it to be and what how I want to ride out. At this point, I'm thinking out how I want to ride out. And if I have a 20-year age gap, I'm 40 and this person is 20. By the time I'm 60, they just turned in 40. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not going to grow old together.
Not at
Like
all.
I want that union with my person that I'm with. I want to be able to, you know, say we're growing old together and all that kind of stuff. If you have somebody that has that much age gap with you, you're not going to grow old with that person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
And
mean, you are in a way, but you know what I mean. Like, you know,
course, of
yeah,
course. And then
yeah,
also, younger people just have a different perspective. Not all younger people, of course, I'm not going to pigeonhole
yeah,
everyone, but the majority of them are here kind of like living their lives. They're not really thinking about, a lot of them are not thinking about being committed in a committed, tied down relationship, right? And I think that younger people are definitely more open to an open relationship because they just want to
mm,
date, they want to have fun, they want to travel. Not to say that we don't want to do that, but we want to do that with our significant other once you've reached a certain
yeah,
age,
yeah,
hopping around from person to person. Um,
yeah.
And kudos to the people that can date younger or can date older. And the same for younger girls with, well, it's the same thing, it's the same difference. But there are some younger girls who actually prefer dating an older man because they're more sophisticated, because they're more established, because they're more mature, because they're financially stable. There are a lot of young women. If you look at today's age, today's time, there are a lot of men in their 50s and their 60s having children with women in their 20s and their 30s. You know, I love me my Mark Anthony. That is my guy forever.
Right.
But yo, Mark just had a baby, just married someone who might be about 23, 24 years old.
No.
Just had a baby. She is literally younger than his oldest child. Kudos to you. He has a type. You know, my Mark can't do no wrong. But Mark,
and once you're grown, you can't say anything when two consenting adults are doing it. But it's at some point for me where it's like, okay, if I had a child that's that age, for that reason, that would make me feel a little weirdo. I mean, and I shouldn't use the word weird. That would make me feel weird, not weirdo, weird. Like to have a boyfriend that's the same age as my daughter, like
younger.
Like I even feel like I'm not supposed to have crushes on people that's around my, you know what I mean? Like I just that wouldn't sit right with me. But yeah, and then so now you got this young woman, 23. Mark Anthony got to be kicking 60 in the ass.
He's I think my baby is about 56 years old right now.
Kicking 60 in the ass, like I said. And you got a 23-year-old?
Oh my God.
That's a huge
definitely younger than 25. And I was reading that you're considered an adolescent mentally up until the age of 24.
Yeah, I thought it was 25.
Fully matured. So
I thought your brain hasn't fully matured until 25.
Yes. So you're considered to be an adolescent. An adolescent. Okay, I'm dating an adolescent. That shit sounds so crazy to me. Like when you really think it's a scientific thing. And there's some people in their 20s that are mature, right?
Oh, for sure.
Because there's some people in their 50s and 60s that don't let go of their youth and they're still immature. So I guess it all depends on the person. But me personally, it's just not my cup of tea. Because
I think go ahead.
No. Go ahead, honey.
No, I think that a person could be mature. Like it could be somebody in their 20s and 30s that's more mature in a certain area than I am because they've had more experience in that area. Exactly. Like if it was somebody who is like an entrepreneur or something like that, and they've been entrepreneur for like 10, 15 years, that they're more mature in that field than I am because that's not my field, you know.
Exactly.
But when it comes to relationship, that's the experience that comes with that, like the knowing how to navigate the hurts and knowing how to pick up on certain things that, you know, people do in relationships and some of the manipulation things that can happen in relationship. I mean, it's just going to be experience. You're going to learn it at 22. You're going to learn it at 30. Like you're going to have to learn it. So
exactly. And I think relationships, there has to be, in order for a relationship to really work, there has to be like a sense of equality in terms of experience, right? That experience gives you the knowledge, like you mentioned, it allows you to sort of know how to deal with certain situations, how to ignore certain things. Like I might do something one way now where it won't bother me, where someone in their 20s might have a whole meltdown, a whole tantrum because they don't know how to deal with this particular obstacle in our relationship because it's been exposed.
Right.
All of those emotions and things that valleys and grooves and everything, hurdles that you go through in a relationship that you've been in for a while. But there are a lot of celebrities that date younger people. So I was actually looking. You have Gabrielle Union is 49. If not 50 already. Dwayne Wade is 39. They're 10 years different. They've been together for about 10 years.
Now, that's what I'm saying. That's that sweet spot for me. Like for me, I still don't know if I feel comfortable now at this age, even saying 10 years, but 10 years is the least, You know what I mean?
I get it.
What I would
10
do.
year
Like
gap.
I wouldn't do younger. That would be my gap. That's the it right there. 10
Well,
years.
now that I'm thinking at our age, I think 10 years will be appropriate. Will be okay.
Yeah.
10
Right.
years, and
I'm
depending
not
on where
looking-
they're at, depending where they're at in their life. I think 10 years down, I definitely can't do 10 years up. I mean, right now, obviously, I'm dating or whatever, and they are older for the first time, not considerably older, 3 years.
Right. That's nothing. Yeah.
That's different. Again, we can check that same bracket and our
Right.
demographic.
Right.
But 10 years, if I was single, I could probably do 10. And just because of who I am as a person and my energy, it would definitely match someone that's 10 years old. I'm younger than me, for sure. For sure.
I think the person the person would definitely see. For me, the whole children thing, it's done for me. See, this is where those boxes start. That men, I think that there's a difference with men and women because at a certain age, of women, we can't have children, but a man can just keep, they can keep on having children. But for me, that's why I couldn't go. But so young, even if I got a young vibe or a young ear, and young guys are trying to talk to me because that's dead. I'm not having no more children. It's a wrap for me. Like so,
probably a lot younger than what I am now. I might have entertained it a little bit. Like 10 years younger than what I am now, definitely would have entertained it.
no, not me.
Starting over, I was like, I really want to. But now, no, everything is cool. Everything is cool right now. So this leads me to this whole debate that's been on the internet right now, where I'm sure you heard with Marcus Houston, and he is 41. No, he married his wife when he was 39. She was 19.
Right. So he's 19 years older than his wife. You know what I think the thing is with Marcus Houston? That people are having a problem, or they, kind of like having issue with, is the fact that he's giving all these disclaimers as to why he's dating this younger woman. He keeps like, with older women, they come with a lot of baggage. They this, they that, all these excuses. If you fell in love with this younger woman, then that's who you with. The fact that he's keep trying to give all these disclaimers is making it feel a little weird to me.
I didn't like that he said older women have baggage and kids and stuff. You know what? That's life experience, my man. You're 41. Guess what? You have baggage because you have certain life experiences that your wife doesn't have, right?
Right.
And just just the word teen bothers me. I'm not judging, but the word teen is what bothers me. It's like you had to have seen her in a different light. He said he was around her when she was about 17 years old. They met at church, right? The word teen. Think of the youth at our church. Girl, bye. I'm still picking your boogers. Are you kidding me?
And I mean, I think that now this is going to be a little biased, but I do think that there's a huge difference between a 17-year-old woman, young lady, and a 17-year-old young man. Like the maturity levels normally, I'm not condoning that. Like I don't think that a young man should be for me, the way he's making it seem like it almost seems like he was grooming her. You know what I mean? Like I met her when she was 17. So I was there or in her face, grooming her. When she got 19, when she was of age, then I felt it was good time for me to marry her. Well, people wouldn't look too much crazy because people are looking crazy because she was 19. But
But then that means you dated her. They said I dated for a year, so that means at 18 you dated her. Yo, you was a whole 38 dating an 18-year-old. I can't even wrap my head around dating someone that young. And then the fact that he mentions in his interview, and I actually like Marcus Houston. I do.
It's nothing against him. It's just that he's part of the conversation now because we're talking about this topic.
Exactly.
And yeah.
Exactly. But the part that kind of troubled me a little bit was when he mentioned about how women of a certain age in their 40s and older are independent. He doesn't like the dependency. For me, that kind of made me think of, so you want someone to depend on you. And he kind of alluded to that in the interview where he
did.
Where he's old school. He's used to taking care of the woman. And I don't mind that. I want a man to be a man. I want a man to be the head of the household. I want the man to take charge of certain things. So I think that for me was more so the word choices of us being independent. Yeah, I'm gonna be independent. There's certain things that I want to do for myself. And there's certain things that I want to do for you as an independent woman. But he says he wants his wife to depend on him because he wants to be the caregiver. That wordage to me is what threw me off. Why should I be dependent on you?
Yeah, because I'm thinking
for herself. Oh, the women are not going to allow you to take that much authority. Yes, baby, I'm going to allow you to do you as a man. I want a man to be a man. But then you also have to respect my independency of who I am as a woman. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I just don't think that I don't see a man not wanting his woman to be independent. Just because somebody is independent don't mean that they can't submit to you and love you in a certain way. You know what I mean? And allow you to be the man that you guys have come to establish in your relationship. Because what you do in your relationship is what you do in your relationship. So I don't think a woman being independent should take, that should be a problem. Like when he used that word, that verbiage, independent. Like, the older women are independent. Well, you don't want your woman to be independent?
Yeah, I
because
think
that's such a big word. Like she could be independent in so many areas. You don't want her to be independent?
Yes. And I think that's the trigger word. That word age makes it seem, I hate to
that he's grooming her.
Yeah, like, it makes it seem like you were preying on someone younger, that much younger. Now, 41, 31, okay, that's okay. 41, 39, 29, still, you're not a teen. You know what I mean? I think
I just think that, like you said, it's the word choice.
It's the word choice.
His word choice is what is his feelings.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Those are his feelings. Now I'm sure that he's trying to pull back a little bit. I mean, I'm not trying to speak for him or anything like that, but I'm sure he wish he would have chose different words.
Yeah,
independent. Who doesn't want their partner to be independent?
I know.
You want your partner to have a mind where they're able to do things for themselves, where they could be self-sufficient. You understand what I'm saying? Not taking away from your manhood.
Exactly.
But being able to stand on her own 2 feet.
But at that age, honestly, she hasn't had an opportunity to stand on her own 2 feet.
Right. That's true.
Ordered her from 18. I'm thinking, think of our own children.
17.
God, you really think that our children at 17, 18 could have been with a man of 39 years old? Think about it. Girl, bye.
First of all, that he wouldn't have even been around my daughter to groom her like that. I'm sorry.
No.
You understand what I'm saying? Because
I wouldn't allow that.
You that much old, she could literally be her father.
I was just going to say, and I'm almost certain that her parents are relative to his age. I think they might be in their 40s.
They have to be. I mean, they don't have to be because they could have had her older. But if they had her at, even if they had her at a normal age, because he's 41. So if they're 48, you understand what I'm saying? Like he's checking the same demographic box as her parents.
We have the same bracket. They have the same check box. He got to go 4 boxes under her to check that.
Yeah.
That box is a minor box or young adult. It's like, and I get it. You fall in love who you fall in love with. I get it. You fall in love. And when that love bug hits and there's something about someone that just piques your interest, he mentioned that she's been through a lot. So I don't really know how involved her parents are. I don't know what she's been through, but he mentioned that she's been through a lot. So maybe the thing she's been through is not an average 19-year-old.
Okay, you're right.
Makes her a lot more mature because she's been through a lot of obstacles in life where there's something that maybe he's been through that she's been through that allowed them to connect in the church. Right. There's a common ground when you meet someone. There's something in common that brings that
Right.
attraction. So maybe
Right. Right.
it's something that attracted. So there's other things that's his business. He does not need to share. He doesn't even need to give disclaimers like you mentioned.
But you understand what you just see, what you just said right there. Like, this is his business. If he would just stop talking about this, like, why you keep putting this out there? Like, you guys, whatever you open your shades to, people gonna look in. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep your shades closed.
Because he looks young. She looks young, but she looks like she could easily be in her 30s. You know, people in their
Oh, you think she look like she could be in her 30s?
I'm lying. I'm lying.
I'm like 30.
But he does look young, where if had he not said anything, they would have thought their age was relative. Definitely an age gap, but maybe not that much of an age gap had he not said anything. But then maybe sometimes people talk because maybe in his subconscious, maybe he feels, wow, maybe I should not have. Maybe he's looks at it like, okay, this is wrong. Now that he has a daughter of his own, will he allow his daughter, when she reaches a certain age, date someone that's his age? You know what I mean?
Right.
So
And
he's looking at life differently. I don't know.
yeah, I wasn't even like, yeah, I just meant, just don't talk about your business like that. Like, why are you even discussing it? Like, people probably brought it up when he first got married because, you know, he's a celebrity, so it was out there, right?
Exactly.
But you keep answering it and replying to all these things. Just let that shit go. It's gonna be the next story that's gonna come up that people's gonna start talking about. Just let this go.
Let it just go, right? But I think that once he does an interview, people are going to want to interview him based on that interview. And so now he's been having a lot of interview, a lot of commentary. And it just, you know, lines up with our topic today. So, you know, we got to jump on the bandwagon. It's
right.
What our topic is about. But, you know, you love who you love. And if that person makes you happy, that person makes you happy. But for us personally, that age gap is something that we wouldn't touch, just because that's just us.
Right.
Each his own. You live your life, be happy. If that makes you happy, that makes you happy. You know?
Right. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, now she's a grown woman, but it's just, you know, for me, it seemed like it was almost like he was grooming her. Because she was 17 at first, and then, you know, he was already in his 30s when she was 17.
17, he was 37.
Yeah, that's,
so you had to have been.
I mean, that just sounds crazy, but
how many men out there catcall these young girls?
I mean, listen, can you remember when we were 17, 18 years old? This is what I'm saying. Like, as a woman, you know, you can remember those things, and men hitting on you, that older men hitting on you, of course.
Yeah, it happens all the time. I mean, some days I can look super young and I have old men hitting on me. And then on my young days, I have young guys. I said, baby, I could be your whole mama, but thank you. I could be your whole mama and get to you at a legal age.
Right.
As an adult.
Yeah, like,
yes.
I mean, like we said, once you grown, you know, it's really, but it just gives pause to, what can you handle as a man in a relationship, or why you would say all these hot words of an independent woman, you know, you don't want her to have all these baggage. Like, any relationship that you go into is going to be some type of baggage. Of course, a person that's 19, 18 years old is going to have less baggage than a woman that's 41 years old.
Limited, maybe one baggage, unless they had some type of trauma in their life.
Right.
And then he mentioned, like, those are red flags for him. He mentioned also he doesn't want to deal with women. The attitude is almost like older women have like a certain attitude. Well, that's because we're confident, baby, and we're established. And when the right person comes along, we're not going to kind of give off that persona of being, I hate to use the word bitchy, but to be bitchy. Are we going to have bitchy moments? All women are going to have bitchy moments. There's going to be something that's going to turn us off. But I wouldn't say that's baggage. I wouldn't say that's red flags. And we could say the same thing about men. Shit, men have baggage.
Of course. Yeah. Everybody has baggage. And I'm not going to knock him for his red flags. But to say that, you know, because everybody has their red flags, and they're like, oh, that's like
Exactly.
your red flag can be not a red flag for me. Like I would be like, oh, okay, you know what I'm saying? But what did you say? He said the red flag was
His red flag is kids, women having kids, women
mm-hmm.
that have attitude, and just the baggage. He mentioned baggage, and I guess just the ups and downs of lives that kind
But
of
you,
mold who we are. He doesn't
mm-hmm.
like all of that. Kids means baby daddies, and plus, he's coming from a perspective from a man who never wanted to have children. He didn't want to have children.
I mean, let me tell you that one thing for sure is honestly, I never wanted to have kids, and I say this for my daughter too. And if it does happen, you find love with somebody who does have a child,
Mm-hmm.
then it is what it is.
Yeah.
But honestly, I would prefer her to have a family with someone who does not have children, because I don't want her to get caught up in all of those things that can happen, as you know, the drama of a mother.
Baby
You know
daddy.
what I mean? Piece of hair is driving me freaking crazy. Yeah, a mother. You know, all those things that can come along with when you have a child with somebody else, especially if it's a younger child. You know what I mean? So I kind of get that. But at 41 years old, and see, that's probably why he likes to date younger women, because at 41 years old, usually a woman is going to have a child by then. Usually a man is going to have a child by that age.
Exactly. So he
yeah.
never wanted to, but then he said he fell in love with this girl, and her dream, you know, she's always wanted to have children.
Of course, she's a young woman. She wants kids.
Who doesn't want to? At 19, you dream of your family, right? And it changes as you get older, what your family dynamics is going to look like or whatever. But then because he loved her so much, he obviously decided now he's so in love with his kid. But you know what? They love the Lord. We don't know why God does what he does. We don't know why God puts people in people's paths. You know, could there be other factors? There could be other factors, but no, but that's just not my cup of tea. At all. And I had a question for you, but you kind of just mentioned that, like, what's your age gap, and would you date someone younger? And you kind of already mentioned that.
No, I'm kind of in the mind frame in a. I know you're not here. Where I would date somebody older now, like like at least 5, 6 years older than me. I would date somebody older now, because I'm like, first of all, I'm a homebody by nature. Like, I'm just a homebody anyway. So people think that I'm all, no, that's not me. So of course I like to go out and have a good time and do all that kind of, and I like to do things spontaneous, because I'm also at an age where when men think that younger women are very spontaneous, an older woman that already has her children out of the house and all that kind of stuff, she's very spontaneous too, because she has no restrictions on her.
Exactly.
I could get up and go and do what I want to do.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. I'm already whatever. That's the oldest I've ever been with. And it's funny because I do see like a little bit of the difference in maturity. It's not that but that's because I'm legit so young at heart. Like, I can be serious, but I am just so goofy. I'm so silly. I could be a little bit of a spoiled brat at times, it's just, it is what it is. Well, girl, not a little bit of a spoiled brat. But I like the little age, and I like, but we're so much the same. I definitely cannot do someone in their 60s. Like, there's no way. I can't date someone.
And listen, people, everybody needs love.
But I just cannot. There's no way. 60s.
You just don't need love from them. You don't need love from them right now.
I cannot, honey. And I just can't. Now I do have to say, looking at my little TikToks and my little Instagrams, yo, there's some men in their 60s.
This is what I'm trying to tell you.
Bye. They look like they're in their 40s. Now I could get with that. But no, honey, 60s and you really look like you 60? No, I can't.
But you know what's so crazy?
The polyester outfit. No, I'm good. I'm good.
No, but 60-year-old. I think that's crazy. Like,
I can't.
I don't know nobody that's in their 60s that's old like that. Like who? Like
That
polyester, like a polyester suit. Like come, you jigging in the crib. I
was
mean,
when we was younger. That's when we were younger and the 60-year-olds here.
yeah, like 60 years old now is dope as fly. They fly.
There's some 60-year-olds that are
Just think about even in hip hop, like
really.
hip hop is 50 years old. So you got your artists that are in hip hop that are 60 years old. You got hip hop artists that are 60 years old. Like
Let me tell
you
you,
know what I mean?
what's his name? Ed Lover turned 60 last year. I think Ed Lover has aged beautifully. He looks so dope, and he is with the swaggers on right, his hat. Now he's a 60 that if I wasn't, looking, he's a 60-year-old that I could rock with because
Right.
he's
This is
where
what
I'm
I'm
at
saying. Like 60
mentally.
years old ain't no old man no more.
The
Right.
mental 60 really is like 40, 50 really is like 30. Like, and so I can get with Marcus a 40 and a 20 because 40 really can be like 20. It's in their 20s, in their 30s. No, 20 might be cutting a little bit too much, but 40s can be like in their 30s, right? Easily.
I'm just saying like 60 when you said the polyester suit, I was like that's
That's old. Not all of them are
no.
like
But I mean 40 and 20 that's a lot to me because
that is,
it's just so much living unless you're like a celebrity or someone that's really of means and you have been able to be traveled and you've done this and you have been exposed to so much stuff and you got so much culture underneath you, but still you got all this culture and all this travel underneath you still don't have life experience.
no, I don't
As
even
far
like
as
30s and 20s. I don't even like that demographic, but it's a little bit more acceptable. I think once you hit that 30 threshold, then it is what it is. You can go to 40, whatever. But it's something about those that the 20s is your youth. Like it's your youth. You're supposed to be
right,
enjoying it, living your life. Because once
right.
30 is like everything just flies. You want
Yeah,
to
you once you 30, you're 40 the next year. You know what I'm saying? Like it moves that fast.
it really does. It really.
Yeah,
So I mean,
yeah.
he did mention 40 is a new 20, but not really. 40 is a new 30.
I know what he means. Like I know what he
Because
means
that's how
because
we feel. You can't tell me I'm not 30 something, but my
for
bones
sure.
is something else, girl. These joints.
But I mean, I'm just saying, like, look at our generation, right? Like people that is in our demographic, like they look so good. Like
Or age.
everybody looks so amazing. Like their energy, their aesthetic look, like everything.
Yes,
You know, it like people are living differently now.
exactly.
Like the way their well-being, the way they take care of themselves. Like when I was younger, 50 was like old. Like when
No,
somebody became 50, like, oh, you 50?
girl, I used to think 50 was old, but now it's like
Right.
50 ain't old, baby. That's old is a state of mind. Yes, you go through your body changes and stuff like that, but that's about exercising, changing your diet. And there's things that just happens every time you turn a new decade. There's just things that happen to your body normally, organically, right?
Right.
50s now, they look in their 30s. I look at Jada Pinkett's mother, girl,
Yeah, she looks amazing.
8 years old.
Yeah.
She has abs. Her body is crazy. Her face look crazy. It's
Right.
really about how you take care of yourself.
And your mentality, like you don't want to act young and be out there crazy, but it's all in your mindset and how you take care of yourself. Like it's totally different now. Like the world is totally different now. You can't even compare to where our parents were younger when they were 50 and their parents were 50 years old. Then they settled into oldness. Like, oh, I'm 60, I'm supposed to be old.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, no.
Because my mother, if she has a skirt on that's a little above her knee, ooh, that's so short. I said, girl, bye. When I'm your age, I'm gonna be popping it, dropping it, locking it, little mini skirt by heels. Honey,
Right.
honey.
Right.
Because
Right. And
my mind is different. My mind is
yeah.
different. And I don't move in an immature fashion, but I do
Right.
move in a youthful way because I just feel like God has just blessed us with so much youthfulness. We attract young people. Everyone in my circle, really, God has really blessed us with so much youth. And and that's just what it is.
Yeah.
And
And it allows when you have like I don't try to be who I'm not. Like I am who I am.
Exactly.
But people just feel younger people just feel comfortable because you don't give off where you like pointing a finger and you know everything because there's so much that can be learned from younger people.
Oh
Like so
yes.
I'm not that person, older person who's saying, "Oh, you can't tell me nothing because you're younger." You damn sure can. Younger people are out here doing the damn thing.
Hey, girl, I learned so much
Yeah,
from younger people. Like
yeah.
this is one particular person that I actually admire them
Of
because of where
course.
they're at right now in their life,
Mm-hmm.
moves that they're making, their mindset. I wish that I had that mindset at that age. Girl, I will be unstoppable. But that's okay because that mindset is clicked. It doesn't really matter at what age because
Mm-hmm.
once it clicks and you just go forward.
But you know what?
Imagine
You
having that our mindset at 20s, girl, bye.
you know what that is, no, too, because there's so much more for them now. They're exposed to so much more, so their mind is open to more. When we were younger, our minds were more confined because we didn't have as much opportunity, as much exposure. So
Exactly.
now you have older people, more mature people, more seasoned people who are getting into tech, who are getting into which you crypto and all these kinds of things. Where those kinds of things was we didn't have exposure to that now. That is every day to young people now. Like you're not doing that. You know
Yep.
what I mean? So yeah, that's why that is like it is. But cha.
Mm.
You have any more questions, girlie?
I don't. You kind of like answered my questions as we were talking.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
I love this topic because you can almost you have to check yourself sometimes because you can be almost in a state of where you're so judgmental about people's relationship. Now, I will say, in my opinion, there's some things that just from hearing him speak, where I think he wanted a younger woman from just what he's saying because he was grooming her. He wanted his woman to be a certain way, so he needed a younger woman so that he could do it this way.
and do
And
was
this is just in that case, and I think that can be for a lot of men and when they date younger women, you can make them you can steer them more in a way that you can't an older woman because she's like, nah, I've been there, done that. I'm not no.
and you kind of do that organically. Again, not intentionally. It's just some of the people who go into the age gap relationship, they kind of do rear their partner, not maybe intentionally, but just because you're more seasoned, you're more experienced. If you see them going down the wrong path or making bad business choices or bad career choices or whatever, it's kind of natural, motherly. I hate to use the word motherly, but that's what it would be like when there's such a huge gap. I'm not talking about a 10-year
Yeah.
gap, but when there's such a ginormous
Yeah.
gap, it's kind of natural for you to kind of go that motherly route. Um,
Mm.
Not wanting to, but I think it's kind of natural to. Um, but yeah, but it's something about dating someone young that just kind of, I guess is what is it? Invigorating, right? Kind of
Oh, for
brings
sure. Yeah. And I think
this.
you should date anybody who you're in a relationship with, you should be gaining from them.
You should.
Spiritually, mentally, financially, guiding you in some kind of way you should be. But the grooming part of it is where you trying to mold somebody into the thing that you want them to be.
You
You know what I
want
mean?
them to be. And I
Yeah.
think that's where the separation may be from I'm in love with this person to, you know what, my shit is all effed up. I think this person over here got some qualities. I think I could kind of mold them how I want them to be. The fit
Right.
narrative. Maybe some
Right.
people think like that. And again, some people might truly have found their soulmate in someone that's a lot younger.
True.
And if that's the case, then that's the case, no.
Right. I just think you need to leave this alone. Like, just stop talking about it and let it rest. You guys are married now. You have a child.
You're
Like,
happy.
you're a family now.
Happy.
Yeah,
And the
you're a family
absolutely
now. Just let this
beautiful.
go. Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful. And as long as, yeah, I think he does need to not talk about it anymore. He said what he stated.
Yeah.
He said he felt that he had to talk about it because so many people kept talking about it. and hopefully he just said it, put a little period in it, put the pin in it,
Right.
end it, and now from here, whatever you think, you're gonna think anyway, right? Doesn't matter
Right.
what I say, and
Right.
just live your life, and that's it.
Right. Right.
That's it.
Exactly. Hey. So okay, that's all I have on that topic right now.
Oh, me too.
Listen, again, I have to emphasize, people, I need you to put comments, like, and subscribe.
I know. I would love to be able to also talk about this topic with a male's perspective.
Listen, we have to do that, especially listen. So we're trying to, we still new, we still wetting our feet in this space, right? So we want to do so many things. I think we definitely need to have a round table with men
Oof.
on this topic
So
and
men,
women.
reach out, men. Leave your comments.
Yeah.
Either on Instagram or on YouTube. So
Mhm.
we can create some type of roundtable. I would love to talk about this topic and our previous topic.
So many things. You just want to get a male perspective, because
Yes,
it's
on a
so
lot of
critical.
things.
Yeah.
On a lot of things.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
The next time, you guys, adios.
Adios.